Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, March 31st, last day of the month. My name is Alan. I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. Purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I make the videos. It makes me put some work in. I'm not an expert in AA, recovery, or spirituality. I'm just sharing my experience as I go along this journey of sobriety. The recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book. I'll share my take on that, what stood out to me, and then I'll typically share a little bit about any successes, failures, struggles, goals, anything else that's going on with me. So, once again, welcome. It's Friday, end of the week. All right, so today's topic is going to be "No One Denied Me Love" and kind of judgment part 2. All right, let's get working. All right, March 31st. No one denied me love. On the AA calendar, it was year 2. A newcomer appeared at one of these groups. He soon proved that he was a desperate case and that above all, he wanted to get well. He said, "Since I am a victim of another addiction, even worse stigmatized than alcoholism, you may not want me among you." 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 141 to 142. "I came to you a wife, mother, woman who had walked out on her husband, children, family. I was a drunk, a pillhead, a nothing. Yet no one denied me love, caring, a sense of belonging. Today, by God's grace and a love of a good sponsor and a home group, I can say that through you and Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a woman, sober, free of pills, responsible. Without a higher power I found in the fellowship, my life would be meaningless. I am full of gratitude to be a member of good standing in Alcoholics Anonymous." That's pretty damn good. That's cool reading right there. I just think back of I'm a victim of another addiction other than alcoholism. I got a few vices that I struggle with, and I as much as I've struggled to kind of get a sponsor and keep a sponsor over the years, I've had times where I've reached out. People say call me, and you call them, and they don't call you back. One thing I have felt though in the meeting rooms and in the group as a whole, there a sense of love and belonging. I'm very much welcome there, and people do genuinely care about me. I mean, I have an excellent sponsor, and I am extremely grateful for that. It is the one place I feel like I fit in and where I belong, and it's really I'm full of gratitude. I mean, I may not be the good member that I want to be, that I soon hope to be. I do feel like I am really definitely grateful to be in this program and be a member of it to the best of my abilities. So, so that's my take on today's reading. I did want to finish up kind of the topic of judgment like last time. So, what I want to talk about today, I guess, is just rehash the definition of judgment, why we judge others, why it's unhealthy to judge others, and how do we break the judgment habit. And I guess the reason, and this is just my take on it and what stood out to me, because as I see myself being judgmental, I want to look at it and say, well, why am I doing these things? How do I stop? And why is this important to me? So that's kind of my take on it. So once again, take what you think is valuable, and get rid of the rest. All right. So kind of some judgments I found was the ability to make considered decisions or come to a sensible conclusion. I guess in this case, I don't know if the conclusion is always sensible. I think it's for whatever reason we make the conclusions that we make. Another one is just an opinion or conclusion. So when something happens or someone acts a certain way, I will judge that as good or bad, or what are they doing? Or that's awesome, that's nice, and what the heck's going on there? So that's just kind of what I do. And I guess why do we judge others, right? I mean, the one typical things that helps us feel superior. Tearing down other people is one of the most common ways that people prop themselves up, right? By judging others harshly, we compare ourselves to them and feel superior. I'm sure I do that. I'm sure I do that a lot. I inherently have low self-esteem, and the more I feel, the more I act in opposition to my values, I feel lower, and then I'll judge more and more and more to kind of, I guess, balance the scale, right? Sometimes by judging others, it helps us recognize our goals and values. When we see someone acting in a way we think's poor, maybe we look at it and go, "Oh, okay, that's something, I don't want to act that way." So something to be aware of. So that can be a little bit of a positive in that sense. It can uncover our own faults. And I hear a lot about you spot it, you got it. And so when you're looking at somebody and watching, observing something like that, you may a lot of times you see something, you judge something, maybe that's something that has to do with me, and I need to look at that, all right? Um, when I was younger, I used to judge a lot because it made me feel part of a group. But really, for me, I think I judge more when I don't feel good about myself. Judging others takes the focus off myself, so I don't have to look at myself and change my thoughts or behaviors. And really, the worse I feel about myself, the farther I am away from living according to my values, the more judgmental I become. Right. So I think that's my best take on why we do. Why is it unhealthy? Right. Judging others makes us self-critical. The more we judge others, the more we judge ourselves. And constantly seeing the bad in others, we train our minds to find the bad, and this can lead to increasing stress. And that's very much applies to me. The more we learn to accept others' faults, the more we learn to love ourselves. So sometimes like a mirror, right? It makes people pull away from us. The more who wants to be around someone that's always criticizing and very judgmental? I don't want to be. And I see how I'm starting to act that way, and it wouldn't surprise me if people don't want to be around me sometimes. And I think it really stunts our personal growth. And when you point a finger at someone, you're actually pointing back at yourself to some degree. I don't know if you've ever heard that when you have one finger pointing out, you got all these three fingers pointing right back at you. I don't know. So how do we break the judgment habit? I think it's always important to take a moment to understand where the person's coming from. Where's their empathy? What's going on with that person, right? I always like the phrase, I can't remember where it is in the AA literature, but whenever I'm disturbed, there's something wrong with me. So if I see something like, oh, what the heck is that? And I'm start to criticize that. Well, what's going on with me that disturbs me, right? Another thing is we try to recognize our own insecurities and work on building ourselves up instead of tearing other people down, right? I think we need to examine our friendships. Are they hanging around a lot of negative people? Maybe those aren't the people I want to hang around. I really need to focus on keeping my side of the street clean. It's easy for me in a relationship to point the finger to the side, but if I'm not keeping my side of the street clean, then I'm in no place to throw stones, right? So I think it's important to do that. And really, I like the idea of adopting a belief that I don't know everything that I think I know. I mentioned the story about the Chinese farmer last time and how we judge things as good or bad. When really, we don't know how that's going to play out. And who the hell does I think I am to be judging other people? I am very much a flawed human being, and I'm in no place to judge other people. So ultimately, life's too short to spend it uncomfortable in your own skin. And if we're struggling with negative self-beliefs, it's probably worth getting some help. A counselor, or for me, going into the program of recovery, doing the fourth and fifth step reveals these character defects that if I can surrender those, then I think I'll be less judgmental. So anyway, that's my take on judgment. Because I realized how judgmental I've been, I thought it was worth the time to just do a little digging and do a little research into it. And like I said, that's the part of the accountability in this that's important to me. I don't care if anyone watches these, because the reality is I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing these struggles and flaws, and I want to commit myself to become a better human being. So not only do I treat people better, I treat myself better, and that's important. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever this weekend takes you, and I'll be back on Monday. Peace out.